Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It was one of those bitter nights where the cold doesn't just touch your skin, it seeps into your bones. The city lights were bright, the streets alive with movement, but beneath all that noise, there were stories no one stopped to notice. Stories like his. A small boy stood near the edge of a busy sidewalk, his thin sweater doing almost nothing to fight off the freezing wind. His hands were trembling, but not just from the cold. He held something close to his chest, a tiny bundle wrapped in a worn-out cloth. Inside it was his baby sister, her soft cries barely audible over the distant sounds of traffic. He shifted from foot to foot, trying to keep her warm the only way he knew. Haube, holding her tighter, whispering gently, even though he didn't fully understand what comfort meant. Himself, people passed by. Some glanced, most didn't. He had been standing there for hours, not begging, not shouting, just waiting for someone, anyone, to notice. Across the street, a sleek black car slowly pulled up to the curb. It wasn't just any curb, it was the kind that turned heads. The driver quickly stepped out, opening the back door with careful precision. Out stepped a man who clearly didn't belong to the chaos of the street. His coat was expensive, tailored perfectly. His shoes barely touched the dirty pavement as if they refused to be part of it. His presence carried quiet authority. He was a CEO, a man used to boardrooms, decisions worth millions, and a life where time was the most valuable currency. He wasn't supposed to stop here, but something made him pause. Maybe it was the sound, maybe it was instinct, or maybe it was something deeper. As he adjusted his coat and prepared to walk toward a nearby building, a small voice broke through the noise. "Sir, my baby sister is freezing." The words were soft, almost swallowed by the cold air, but they landed heavily. The man stopped. He turned slowly, scanning the area until his eyes landed on the boy. For a moment, everything else faded. The boy didn't look away. His eyes weren't pleading in the way people often expected. They were steady, tired, and far too grown for someone his age. The CEO walked closer, his polished shoes now stepping into a world he rarely noticed. "How long have you been out here?" he asked, his voice calm but edged with concern. The boy hesitated. "Since morning? And your parents?" A pause. "They're not coming," the boy said quietly. The baby whimpered again, her tiny face red from the cold. That was the moment everything changed. Without another word, the man removed his coat. It was thick, warm, and far too valuable to be given away without thought. But he didn't hesitate. He gently wrapped it around both children, making sure the baby was fully covered. The boy looked shocked. "Sir, your coat." "It's just a coat," the man replied softly. "She needs it more." For the first time, the boy's expression cracked, not into a smile, but into something close to relief. The CEO looked around, suddenly aware of how many people had walked past without stopping. It didn't sit right with him. "Where do you live?" he asked. The boy shook his head. "We don't?" That answer hit harder than anything else. The man took a deep breath, then made a decision that would ripple far beyond that moment. "Come with me," he said. The boy hesitated, not out of fear but uncertainty. Life had taught him that kindness often came with conditions, but there was something different about this man, something steady, something real. "'Kay," the boy said finally. The driver opened the car door again, this time with visible surprise. The CEO gave a simple nod, and the children were carefully helped inside. As the door closed, the cold stayed behind. Inside the car, warmth surrounded them instantly. The boy sat stiffly, unsure of where to look, still holding his sister close. The CEO sat across from them, watching quietly. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ali," the boy replied. "And your sister?" "Zaire." The man nodded. "I'm Daniel." Ali didn't say anything more, but he held on to the name. The car began to move, leaving behind the streets that had been their only home. Minutes passed in silence, broken only by the soft breathing of the baby, who had finally stopped crying. For the first time that day, she was warm, and for the first time in a long time, Ali allowed himself to relax just a little. When the car finally stopped, they were in front of a large house. It wasn't just big, it was the kind of place Ali had only seen from far away. He stepped out slowly, unsure if he was even allowed to touch the ground there. "Come on," Daniel said gently. Inside, everything felt different. The air was warm, the lights soft. A woman appeared, clearly part of the household staff, her expression shifting from routine to surprise when she saw the children. "Prepare a room," Daniel said, "and get some warm milk. Clean clothes too." Ali looked overwhelmed. "Sir, we don't need all this." Daniel knelt down to his level. "Yes, you do." There was no argument in his voice, just certainty. That night, for the first time in who knows how long, Ali and Zara slept in a real bed. No cold, no fear, dust, quiet. But for Daniel, sleep didn't come easily. He sat in his study, replaying the moment over and over in his mind. Sir, my baby sister is freezing. He had built an empire from nothing. He had faced challenges, taken risks, made impossible decisions, but nothing had shaken him, like that simple sentence. The next morning, he made calls. Not business calls. Different ones. He wanted to know everything about shelters, about missing children, about systems that were supposed to protect kids like Ali and Zara. What he found disturbed him. There were gaps, too many gaps. Later that day, Ali woke up, confused. For a second, he thought it was all a dream, but then he saw Zara sleeping peacefully beside him, wrapped in soft blankets. It was real. A knock on the door made him jump slightly. "Breakfast is ready," a kind voice said. Ali nodded. Though he wasn't sure if he was allowed to eat, when he entered the dining room, Daniel was already there. "Good morning, Ali." "Good morning, sir." Daniel smiled slightly. "You don't have to call me sir," Ali hesitated. "Okay, Daniel." It felt strange, but also nice. As they ate, Daniel asked gentle questions. Not pushing, not demanding, just trying to understand. Ali shared what he could. Their parents had been gone for months. Relatives had turned them away. The streets had become their only option. Daniel listened. Really listened. And by the end of that conversation, he had made another decision. "You're not going back out there," he said. Ali froze. "We're not? No. What if we're a problem?" Daniel shook his head. "You're not a problem, Ali. You're a responsibility. And right now, you're mine." Those words meant more than Ali could fully understand. Days turned into weeks. Weeks! Into months. Ali started going to school. Zara grew healthier, stronger. The house that once felt too big slowly began to feel like something else, like home. Daniel didn't stop there. That one night had changed him. He started initiatives, funded shelters, created programs, focused on children without homes. He used his influence not just to grow his business, but to change lives. Because he had seen it, he had heard it, and he couldn't ignore it anymore. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of gold, Ali stood beside Daniel on the balcony. "Why did you stop that night?" Ali asked. Daniel thought for a moment. "I don't know," he admitted. "Maybe. I finally saw something I should have seen a long time ago." Ali nodded slowly. "Well, I'm glad you did." Daniel looked down at him, a small smile forming. "Me too." And somewhere in that quiet moment, between what was and what could be, two lives once, strangers became something much more, a family. And it all started with a small voice in the cold. "Sir, my baby sister is freezing." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes the smallest moments create the biggest changes.